everybody. Welcome to our new show, and we are here with Home Stocks Fun.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Glad you could join us.
Same.
Yeah,
Really happy. Sorry.
I said yeah. It's glad to kick this off. This is episode number 1. Hopefully we're going to do this for a while. We have plenty of information to dump on you guys, so let's make the best of it and start off fresh.
Definitely. And as we wait for people to come on into the chat, I'm curious, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been a pretty busy week. We had a busy weekend. We kind of got a lot of housework done. I worked on my BB1 to 2 conversion a little bit. I was just not happy with the way it was working, so I remounted the monitor and I installed some LED lights on the top box so it glows whatever color I want it to glow, and it's looking a lot better, so I'm a lot happier with it.
Hi, sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was finished. Go ahead.
All right. So, do you think I could see the Blue Bowl 1 conversion?
Yeah, you can. Let me see if I can.
All right.
Show it here.
That is so beautiful.
And so the top didn't have any lights in it. It was just a plastic shell. So I added like those cheap LED strips you can buy on Amazon. I think it was like $10, and I just took it off and mounted it right onto the thing, and I can even change the colors. Let me show you.
Wow.
So I have a little control thing here. So if I wanted to make it red, or so I change the different colors. So worked out pretty good.
That is one really cool setup. Hey, Slot Sister, and I do know that you do want to jump into the main point of today's episode.
Say that again, Simon. I'm sorry.
I do know that you do want to jump into today's main point. I do have my pay table diagram showed up, so when you're ready, let me know.
All right, you ready for me to go? I can go.
All right,
we'll start talking. Okay, stop me if there's any questions. I don't have YouTube open right now, so I'm relying on you, Simon, to help me out.
Got
there.
it.
All right, so the first thing we want to talk about is volatility. You've probably heard this word a lot in a lot of YouTube videos, and you probably never really understood what it meant. So let me give you kind of a basic explanation, and then I'll actually go into detail and tell you which machines you can tell have low volatility and high volatility, and why that matters to you, right? So if you think about, let me do a perfect example. Let's stick with like the old 3-reel machines. Let's talk about double diamond. Typically double diamond, the highest jackpot is 3 double diamonds. It's usually 800 times your bet. So if you're betting on a dollar machine, it's usually $800 for 1 credit, $1,600 for 2 credits, and that's pretty standard. Now let's jump over to a 10 times pay machine where it has the 10 times multiplier on it. The jackpot to that goes from 800 up to 10,000. That's a much big difference in jump from what you're going to get for the highest paid amount, the jackpot of the machine, basically. But they're both a dollar denomination, and they both can have the same payback percentage. So why does that matter to you? Well, if you think about it, and you might hear my dogs in the background, they're fighting, so sorry about that. But what that means to you is low volatility machines pay more often, but pay lower amounts. And the typical highest jackpot amount is also much lower. High volatile machines have very high jackpots, but pay very infrequently. Or if they do, it's very small amounts. If you've ever sat down at a 10 times pay machine and you put $100 through it, you're probably like, this machine sucks. I can't get any kind of hit on it. I can't even get a cherry. And then you walk over to a double diamond machine and you do the same thing, and you're getting cherries. You're getting cherries with the double diamond. You're getting mixed bars. You're getting all kinds of stuff. But the difference is that one is very low volatility and one is very high volatility. And so what that matters to you is what you feel like playing. Like, the dogs are barking just because we went live. They were quiet all afternoon.
No, that feeling.
No, if you can hear it, but yeah, that's what they do. They're trying to play with each other. So anyway, what that means to you is basically if you don't have a big bankroll, I always recommend playing low volatile machines because it'll last a lot longer. You can stretch it a lot longer. you get those small wins. You can kind of keep playing and just have more fun. But if you have a bigger bankroll, or maybe you just won big on another slot machine and you want to kind of be a little riskier, go to a high volatile machine and play that one, because the wins, if you do get them, are much higher than what you would get on a low volatile machine, like a double diamond. So does that make sense? Like you basically want to be able to gauge what your risk factor is. If you just want to have fun and get free drinks and just hang out and have fun at a slot machine, the low volatile machines are probably the best ones to go to. So just so you guys kind of get a better understanding, I know I've kind of explained it, but I want to go even further. Well, how do you know which machines are high volatility or low? Well, typically all you need to do is look at the top jackpot amount and what that is, and compare it to another machine that has the same denomination, but what is the jackpot credit on that one? And the higher the jackpot amount, the higher the volatility of the machine, and vice versa. Now that excludes bonus machines. Bonus machines are a little bit different, and sometimes you don't really know unless you look it up. I don't know if IGT still does this, but if you look up a specific machine on their website, it will actually tell you whether it's low, medium, or high volatility. And this is important information if let's say you're going to sit down and play a bonus game like pinball. Pinball is very high volatility compared to, say, top dollar. The bonus on pinball is going to happen much more infrequently than it does on top dollar. But the average bonus amount that you get on pinball is higher than you typically get on top dollar. So it's a trade-off. Do you want to try to see if you can hit that bonus really quick on pinball and get a good payout? Or do you want to just kind of hang out with top dollar and hopefully you get a good, good bonus, with your money? So, it's sometimes you don't really know. Sometimes you can look it up, but that's what volatility is. And I see some questions coming in. So, Simon, if you want to read those, I saw another one before this, but go ahead. Go for it.
We'll start from the top. Margaret's asking, hey, Simon, what qualifications does this gentleman have to educate me on slot machines? Then Goldie Slots is also asking, 1 second, can you give me some examples of which machines?
Sure. Yeah, so I'll take the first one. So I used to play slot machines in the casino for I don't know, maybe 5 years or so, and I decided to get out of that. But I missed slot machines. I loved playing them. I just loved the themes, the music, just the excitement, And so I said, you know what? I live in Texas, and Texas is a state where you can own your own slot machine without any restrictions. So I started to look on Craigslist, and I found a guy that had a couple of machines. They were S2000 machines, and this was probably about 6 or 7 years ago, I think. So I got those two machines in. I picked them apart. I read ad nauseum the instruction manuals, the New Life Games forums. I've gone through everything possible to learn about those machines. And it ended up that I kind of started just fixing them. I would find people, I would post an ad to say sell a machine, and I would get an influx of people saying, hey, can you fix my machine? And so I started to go out and fix machines, and I learned even more from that. The one thing that I specialize mostly in IGT and WMS. Those are the two machine types that I've messed with the most. And so I have a lot of history with fixing them, as well as, replacing parts and soldering my own, power cables and stuff like that, because a lot of parts are difficult to find. So you have to make your own, and just kind of learning them inside and out. And typically, and my wife knows this, but anything that I approach, I approach until there's nothing else to know about them. And it's given me a lot of sleepless nights trying to get things working, trying to understand why it works and how it works, all those types of things. So that's my background. I've been doing that for about 5 or 6 years now. I haven't worked in the industry, but I can tell you that, from my experience and having these, in my house and playing them over and over and over again, I know a lot about how they work and the insides and all that kind of stuff. So that's my qualifications, just to be fully transparent. So examples of which machines, I kind of gave a couple examples of the real machines and the bonus machines. Most of the machines that have, I'll give you some other examples, machines that have progressives, like your Lightning Link, or even like, what are those, like the Tarzan, the Walking Dead, those types with the big curve monitors. Those are high volatility. So you could sit down in that. I've seen some YouTube videos where people play for 30 to 40 minutes and don't get a bonus the entire time. That's pretty typical of those machines because they're highly volatile. But when you get the bonus, it's usually very good and pays a lot. So it's all about risk reward. Is that what it comes down to? A high volatile machine is not programmed to pay you more over the long run compared to a low volatile machine. In the end, they'll always pay the same. Just one pays you a lot of small amounts and one pays you big amounts, but infrequently.
All right, Dad. All right, so I'm also curious, I'm wondering, when you begin to play a machine, how is there any giveaways or any tells to be able to tell if the machine you're sitting at is a high volatility or low volatility without knowing anything about the game?
Well, if you can't see the glass to see the jackpot payout, what the highest amount is, it's going to just take a lot of experience. That's why I actually recommend people watch all these videos on YouTube, because you will actually learn quite a bit, believe it or not, from just seeing. Now I will say a big disclaimer there. Make sure that you watch people that do full-length episodes of their gambling session and not just showing you the wins. You got to be a little careful there, because you might get the wrong perception. For example, I've seen people, oh, we had an amazing night on pinball, and you watch their 30-minute video, and it's just back-to-back bonuses nonstop. And if you've ever watched somebody sit down in a pinball machine and play it, you know that it does not happen that way. It takes a long time to get the bonus. And so the short answer is do your own education. Look at the videos, look for people that actually play that machine, the full losses and wins, and you can kind of gauge what the volatility is there. Other than that, look at what the top jackpot amount is and compare it to other machines in that class to see if there's any big differences in jackpot amounts. Here's another example: double diamond and triple diamond. Triple diamond is slightly more volatile than double diamond because the jackpot for getting 3 triples is higher. It's like 2,000 compared to 800. And so it's a little bit more volatile. But if you just think about it, think about how the multipliers work, right? If you have double diamond, the biggest multiplication you can get is 4 times, and that's if you have 2 double diamonds. Well, the most you can get on a triple diamond is 9 times, so that's higher. But the base pay is the same. Like 3 triple bars is 40 credits, whether you're on a double diamond machine or a triple diamond machine. But the multiplier is different. And so because the multiplier is higher, they're not going to give you as many wins as you would get on a double diamond, for example. And escalate that all the way to a 12 times pay machine. You get 2 of those, it's 144 times. So imagine getting 144 times triple bar. It probably happens once in the lifetime of that machine because it's so difficult to get it because it's very volatile.
I'm wondering, when you say that the higher a machine's jackpot is and the higher the multipliers are, does that usually indicate that the machine is very volatile because it gives up big pays infrequently?
That's right. Yeah. So instead of getting, let's do another example, double diamond. Let's say you get single bars for 10 credits across. You might get that, 4 or 5 times in a 30-minute session on a double diamond. But on a 10 times pay, you may never get that, because it's instead of getting 10 credits, 5 times for 50 credits total, you might get that 10 times multiplier with the 3, with the single bars, and then that's 100 credits. But then you won't, you see, it's just different in how it pays out. Like it's just going to pay you more credits than the lower one is. But in the end, the payback percentages might be the same. It's just how does it get there? It just gets there in a different path. One is quicker wins, one is less frequent wins but higher pays.
That is some really good insight. And also, I do wonder if licensed games tend to be high volatility or low volatility.
I don't know the answer to that. I would not say that there was any difference there. From what I've heard, multiple people say different things about, licensed games. You shouldn't play them because the casino has to pay for the license. I don't necessarily think that's true anymore because a lot of the machines that are on casino floors are leased. The casinos don't even buy them. The Wheel of Fortune or some of like I don't know, Hangover, any of the like the licensing Ghostbusters, they're licensed, and the person that owns the license is the actual manufacturer of the machine, so they're the ones that are putting them on the floor. And I don't know if there's any. I can say that those are more volatile than others. I would say they probably have a lower payback percentage, but that's speculation. I don't want to say that's for fact.
All right, so we do have a question from Vegas Slot Channels. Can the machine be set to a higher or lower payout percentage during certain times of the day?
No, it can't. That's for Class 3 machines. Now, Class 2 is different. Class 2 machines are the kind of bingo style VGT machines that you see in a lot of the native casinos. But Class 3 machines, no, it cannot be changed at certain times of day. They can't say between 8 p.m. and 12 a.m. it's 95%, and then in the morning time it's 90%. And to further, go a little bit further with that explanation. Yeah, Simon's showing her percentages there, but to go a little bit further with that, it's difficult to change the percentages, especially on the older games. The newer games you can. But for example, like this Top Dollar that I have behind me, it's a newer version. It's called an SAVP platform. This one you can change it with just a USB key. You can stick the USB key in and change the percentage on a whim, but only if there's no credits in the machine. It won't allow it if there's credits on the machine, like an active session. But when I got this machine in, there was tamper-proof tape over the CPU door, which has to be open to put the USB key in. And so my belief is that they're not changing that without multiple people present to make that change. And it's not something. I mean, here's the thing that I always say about payback percentages, and this is Simon and I was like, this is definitely a topic we're going to do ad nausea later on. Looks like Simon ducked off, so I'll keep going. But payback percentages, it's over millions and millions of spins. You're not going to really notice it on any active session, or even 2 or 3 days of playing a machine. You're just not going to notice any kind of patterns that are going to, sway your decision on what the payback percentage of that machine is. It's all over the lifetime of the machine. And I have some, I would say not hidden menus, but I have menus that I'll show you on each of the machines that I have in here that will actually show you the payback percentage and then where it actually sits in its life cycle. So you can kind of see that it's actually nowhere near. This Top Dollar behind me is set at 98% payback, which is the highest. It's been running for probably 2 weeks now, and it's currently paying back around 72%. So it's nowhere near the 98%. It's only paid back 72%. But again, it's over a very, very long period of time. So you're never going to notice it, in your individual sessions on a machine.
That's like really true. And also, that's like really true that just like how long it takes for the machine to pay back the percentage. And also, I do want to add on to the idea that you cannot easily change the machines. Like, in order to change the payout percentages on my blue board, you actually had to put this chip into the CPU. You actually had to shut off the machine, take out the game chips, put this compact flash card into the machine. Then you had to put your compact flash cards back into the machine, and that requires 2 power cycles over a course of 20 minutes. So that machine will have a downtime of 20 minutes, and people will notice if a casino tries to do that.
Yeah. And there's, I mean, people always like, oh yeah, well they do it at 3 a.m. when everybody's asleep. Maybe, but they don't. I mean, they're already making money, guys. They're making tons of money on these slot machines. They going in and changing the payback percentage from 95 to 85%. It's not going to, if they're going to do that, they're going to do them all at the same time, not just piecemeal because somebody was winning a lot on that machine earlier. This is a strategy. I will say, talking to people in the industry that once a machine, especially the older machines, now some of the really new machines I don't know about, and I have a feeling they can actually change those remotely when there's no credits in the machine. of course, not while you're actively playing it. But the general rule is the older the machine, the least likely that the payback percentage has ever been changed the moment it hit the floor. It's been set to the same thing the entire time, because it's too much of a pain to change it. Plus, they're already making money anyway, and they know it. So,
I'm like curious. Like, I know it's kind of jumping around, but I'm like wondering. But for volatility, I'm like wondering. I'm curious, but do you consider Dragon Link like a really high volatile game since it is so popular?
what? Say that again about. Do you think you should play a Volatile Machine?
No, I mean, like, I'm curious, like, for Dragon Link, do you think that Dragon Link is very volatile or not very volatile? I'm like wondering because Dragon Link is so popular right now.
Yeah, all those Lightning Link, Dragon Link. I mean, you see them all over YouTube. Everybody plays those machines. They're very volatile. I've seen some really bad sessions where people have played for 30 minutes or longer, and they've never gotten the 6 balls to get the bonus. But then I see people sit down and their second spin they get it. They got lucky. It's still very volatile machine, because and here's the general rule of thumb. I mean, you never know 100% for sure, but the general rule of thumb is if it takes a while to get the bonus, or it takes a while to get a big win, or any win for that matter, it's a volatile machine. It's just something that you just have to have a feeling and notice, as you sit there and play the machine. Now you'll have some times where you'll get back-to-back bonuses and all that, but it's much more likely you'll get back-to-back bonuses on a non or a lower volatile machine than you would on a high one, for example. So it's just something to keep in mind as you're playing. Just kind of keep track of. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with playing a high volatile machine. Casinos like it because you're more likely to keep putting money in. If you think about it, the longer it takes for you to get a win, the more you're kind of enticed to keep playing, because even though you have heard it, from many people that just because you've been sitting there for so long that it doesn't mean that a win is coming. Even though you've heard that over and over again, your brain still thinks, a win has to be coming. I've put so much money into this thing. I'll at least want to get back to even. And on a high volatile machine, that is how they get you. That's just, you're just chasing that big win. And that's fine. If you want to be risky and you want to go for that big win, play a high volatile machine. But if you have a low bankroll and you want to just kind of make it last as long as possible, don't play a high volatile machine. Play a lower one. Enjoy your comps and your free drinks and with friends and all that kind of stuff. So
that is why lately I'm gravitating towards the older aristocrat machines, because from what I've seen at the casino that I was at yesterday, the aristocrat machines, the old school machines, like the old Buffalo Whales of Cash, they were pretty even keel. It took some but gave you back some. It was like ping pong, but very subtle.
Yeah, and I think in general machines are getting more volatile over time. I think a lot of the older machines, you can really spot the ones that make your bankroll last a long time, and that's the way they were back then, just because they wanted to give people, small wins so they keep playing, right? Because nobody wants to go to a casino and play a slot machine that always takes your money. Somebody has to win at some point, right? But it's how fast that happens, and that's where volatility comes into play. It looks like Simon ducked off, so let's see. Spanglish Slot says, is that information available to the public? It can be. I don't know if. I do know that IGT used to publish that. I will look after the stream and I'll post a comment on what I found out. But I used to be able to look up a specific game theme on IGT's website, and it will tell you the volatility of that machine. But other than that, you really don't know. There's not a sticker on a machine that says this is a high volatile machine or a low volatile machine. You just don't know. But there might be some resources out there that you can look at. Otherwise, like I said before, just education. Watch people play the machine. If you're unsure, sit back and watch. It's kind of creepy, but sit back and watch somebody play, And if it looks like they're there for a long time and they're not getting any wins, and you see them feeding in a lot of money, it's probably a high volatile machine, just because of that.
Yeah, I do want to add to this, but I was like watching one of Mr. Hampay's I was watching one of Mr. Hampay's live streams. He was playing the high limit Dragon Link. I definitely do want to address this misconception in another episode, where there's definitely this misconception and this perception that the higher you bet, the more likely you to win. But I saw the Raja and Mr. Hampay, they were feeding that Dragon Link machine like thousands of dollars. It is all on the live stream, and it is crazy how far and few the bonuses were between.
Yeah. So that would be how high vol. That would be your clue. That's a high volatile machine. What was the previous question?
All right, so we do have two questions. I got them out of order, but 5K is asking. I have 500. Should I super chat it or take a bubble bath?
Take a bubble bath. 5K. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
Take a bubble bath with 500 single dollar bills in it. That's what I would do.
That'd be one messy bath.
Yeah, it would be.
Then Margaret is asking, I have 500. Should I put it in the Buffalo Gold or Dragon Link?
I can't tell you that. I wouldn't know. I think they're both probably volatile machines. I've seen more Dragon Link than I have Buffalo Gold, so I don't really know for sure. But yeah, I can't really say for sure.
I cannot remember if you addressed this question, but what are the low volatile machines that are so popular?
So the older ones, like your double diamonds, triple diamonds, even 5 times pay to a point, any 3 reel games that don't have insane jackpot amounts, just kind of reasonable in the middle kind of jackpot amounts. Those would be examples of low volatile machines that you could probably get a lot of play from. If you've ever watched Simon on her double diamond, she gets a lot of wins, but they're just they're smaller but more frequent, and that's just the way double diamond works. And so anyway, I know I've already answered that question, but really I would look for the older machines. That Blazing 777 is a perfect example of a low volatile machine. That's a good one that you could sit down and have a good shot at getting 777s at least once, because the base table is very simple and the highest jackpot amount is 1,000 credits. So because of that, it's a low volatile machine. You have a good chance of letting your bankroll go for a while.
That is also something that is really good to be nimble. The more I think about it, it's the idea that the lower the big jackpot is. I do wonder if the lower the jackpot is, the bigger chances you are to get the smaller hits. And I know I'm kind of going off topic, but Margaret says, Simon says super chat.
Yeah. Here, let me give you another example of if you guys have state-run lotteries, you have Megabucks, right? And Megabucks is a lottery that is I don't know, I even know how many states are involved in it now, over 30. So there's a lot of people playing it. There's, because of that, the jackpot amount is always super high. It's always higher than your local, state-run lottery. And so that would be an example of a high volatile play, because you're most likely not going to get a win on that at all because of how many people that are playing and how big the network is. But if you do win, it's huge. It's really big compared to what your state lottery would ever cap out at. And so it's kind of the same thing with slot machines. It's just, the bigger the top win is, or even some of the middle wins are, is just an example of what a volatile, machine would be. And again, I want to emphasize that there's nothing wrong with playing either one. You just should know what your expectations are. A lot of people like to play the high volatile machines because it's more exciting, but then they also get frustrated because they're not getting any wins, so they think it's rigged, or they think the payback percentage is really low, and that's not the case. It's just because that machine is set to pay infrequently, but when it does, it's just higher amounts.
I remember when I played like Village People Party, there are times I can go like for an entire hour without getting a single bonus. But sometimes like when I get the bonus, it sometimes can be really huge, or I just get a really massive line hit.
Yeah, I have a good example of that too, which is this Monopoly Party Train that I just recently got. It takes forever to get the bonus. I played for an hour last night and gave up. I never got it. I probably put $600 or $700 in it, and it's a $3 bet, and I never got the bonus. And then I played it a little bit today, and I finally got the bonus, and the bonus paid like $380. It was a big bonus. But the game is designed to be that way because of the way the bonus works. You can get a lot of retriggers very easily. The credits build up a lot faster. And because of that, it's a high volatile machine. If you do get the bonus really quick on a high volatile machine, consider yourself a winner, because you got it faster than you would normally just by sitting there. So, you can kind of spot it by just watching people play. And I think that's the one thing that I get out of people posting on YouTube. I love watching everybody play the machines and learning more about them that way too. Avoid if I were playing for real money, because it just takes money like nothing else. So there's just something to watch out for there.
There was also, I do want to add, speaking of Monopoly, I think it was me, and in the game, we were playing this like Monopoly, like not Monopoly, but this Wheel of Fortune, real bus, where this like bus would go around the Wheel of Fortune. It took us, I believe, it took us the longest time to get the bonus, but when we finally got the bonus, we got very little.
Yeah, I mean it's not guaranteed. Yeah, for sure, it's not guaranteed. But most of the time, I always use the example of pinball because it's a very popular game and people play it a lot. But when you get a pinball bonus, the absolute lowest you can get is 25 credits, and that's if you're betting the max 3 credits on 3 credit pinball machine. It's 25 credits. Usually the average is between 80 and 100. So every time you get the bonus, most likely going to get 80 or 100. It doesn't mean you will in that. Sometimes you get less than that. That's just how they work. But in general, it's much higher than, say, a top dollar machine. You get the 15 credits, the 20 credit. The average pays for that. But because of that, the bonus symbol comes up a lot more frequently than on pinball. So smaller pays, but more frequent bonuses. And there was a change at one point. I remember watching some G2E coverage from, I guess, early 2000s. And, there was a shift around that time where they wanted machines to be less volatile. So they're like, let's start, creating all these machines that have bonuses like crazy. Like you get a bonus every 5 seconds, but don't pay them much, And so there was this big drive to do that. Just frequent bonuses, just keep it going, keep it exciting. And they did that for a while, but you can see they've completely flipped back to making everything highly volatile again. Because I think in general, it probably makes more money for the casino because of the psychology effect. If you're getting bonuses all the time, you're not really enticed to keep sitting there chasing, bigger amounts, or, because they sit down and it's like, well, I just want to see the bonus. I just want to see what it looks like. And meanwhile, you've put that's in their favor. What are my favorite slot channels? Let's see. Who do I watch the most? I like Mid-South Slots. He's one of my favorites. Because I always have to educate him on reading the belly glass for the pay tables. He's kind of funny about that. Stacy's High Limit Slots. She's a Texas person. She loves Top Dollar, so obviously I have to watch that. Any channel that plays Top Dollar, I'm there. It's just me. I do watch the Big Jackpot, of course. I just actually found Mr. High Limits. I guess is it his son or something? I don't know their relationship, but I just found that a couple days ago, and I've seen some of their posts. Akutuvi slots. I probably didn't pronounce that right, but let's see who else. There's a guy, Gamble the Globe. I watch him a lot. He plays a lot of Top Dollar. So I, like I said, anybody who plays Top Dollar, you're going to get a sub from me. This is my favorite game, so I have to. But yep, those are pretty much it. I have some others, but I mostly just search for, like every day I sit there and search for Top Dollar, and I sort by day today, and I look to see if there's any Top Dollar videos. What can I say? It's my favorite game.
Sweet. That's a really fun idea. Just to go onto YouTube and just like search one game and see what you find.
Yep. Yeah,
and
it's.
Also,
sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Sorry, what were you saying? I lost the train of thought.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say, I mean, that's if you do have favorite games, it's a good way to learn more about them is to go and search for a specific game, and then you can sort by posted in the last week or last month. Yeah, Vegas Slots channel. I'll definitely subscribe if you play more Top Dollar. I'm not telling you what to play, but if you do feature that, it's just exciting. You never know what's going to happen with Top Dollar.
And when I'm playing these like older WMS games, I'll pay attention to how frequently they bonus, especially if they're manufactured in the early 2000s, because now I'm very curious.
Yeah, it's you'll go into a casino looking at slots a little bit differently, and I think that's what's important, because I want people to be educated when you're spending your money. That's always been my goal. I work on these machines and I sell them and restore them and all that kind of stuff. But, there's so much misinformation out there. And that's why we started this, is just, we want to get the facts as straight as possible. And you know what, guys, if I don't know it, I'm going to tell you I don't know it. I'm not going to speculate or make up something, because the last thing we want is another false rumor spreading around. I think it's very important, because people spend money, and I knew what that was like, when I played for real money, and it was dangerous sometimes. And I see these myths and people chasing things and betting higher denominations and all that kind of stuff. And that's the stuff that we want, that's the kind of stuff that we want to cover on this series is, just making sure you're more educated when you're going in before you put your bill in, that you know what you're playing and getting into, so that you can make a better decision on when to quit or, when to get up and leave. And, but you should still have fun. I'm not telling you not to play slots. It's not for me. I play for free at home, which is wonderful. But you should do what you want to do, but just be cautious. Yeah, I'll check you. I'm sure I've visited you before, Vegas Slots channel. I know it. I recognize the name for sure.
It is definitely a very slippery slope. It can be I do find that rumors can be very slippery, a very slippery slope, because it's easy for people to hear information, but then it gets misconstrued a little bit. Then it gets misconstrued a little bit more and more and more. It is like a game of a telephone, and by the time you get it, you get a totally different thing from what was originally said. So that's why I do find rumors to be very dangerous at times.
Yeah, and it's that's true with life, right? I mean, you hear something where you're standing in line at the grocery store and suddenly you're telling somebody else, and that's just human nature. Right? We're humans. That's what we do. The thing that's different about this is that people, are gambling money. They're spending their hard-earned money to gamble with, and we know that it's an industry plagued with people that have lost self-control over gambling, and so it's different. Misinformation in that world is much different than just telling a rumor saying, hey, you heard that they're opening a Chick-fil-A across the street next month. That's different. That's, if it doesn't happen, nobody's hurt, nobody's losing their their life savings or whatever the case is. That's just the nature of this. Is just, you want to have this information you have when you go in there. And it's always puzzled me how people don't educate themselves before they start playing a slot machine. And I see this on YouTube also. I gave the example last time we talked about people that will sit there and play one credit on Top Dollar or Wheel of Fortune, and they get the symbol on the third reel, and then they look up and they're like, well, where's the bonus? It's like, well, the belly glass says that you have to play max credits to get the bonus. You lost out on the bonus because you weren't following the rules of the game. And so those types of things are important to look at and, educate yourself before you start sliding those bills in, and make sure that it's something you want to do. And Margaret says, I prefer playing high volatile slots. Yeah, lots of people do. I mean, it's all over YouTube. People play that stuff all the time because that big win is what you'll get. And it's exciting. It's really exciting if you get a big win. You get a couple cherries, not as exciting.
So I do find it. Yeah, I do find it just like it can be very tempting for me personally, especially when I'm like rushing on live streaming to sit down on a new machine and not have any clue of what I'm doing and like any clue about how much I should be betting to be eligible for like all the features. I'm not sure if I made that mistake yet, but it's definitely a very huge potential for that mistake. Knowing how fast I can go, knowing how fast paced the live stream can be, especially at the casino.
Yeah. I mean, it's still, I mean, you're still playing a slot machine, so it's not like you're necessarily going to get penalized. I mean, you can still, on a Top Dollar or Wheel of Fortune or Pinball, whatever, you can still get line hits by betting one credit. You can still get that stuff. But, if you're playing those games, you're playing them for the bonus. And so you want to really educate yourself that, that's the reason you're sitting down there. And I've always had a theory, although I can't prove it, so don't quote me on it. I've always had a theory that the base games on those types of games pay less. The line hits are much less frequently with games that have a bonus attached to them. So if you are going to play just one credit on a Top Dollar or a pinball or something, you're probably better off playing $1 on just a double diamond where the base game is just the base game. You know what I'm saying? So don't quote me on that. I've always had a feeling that that's probably true. But again, I don't want to speculate, but to me, it's like you're sitting down to play the bonus on Top Dollar. So if you're not interested in doing that, I would just go play the regular double diamond. Your odds may be better. I don't know, but
I do share that same theory. It's just, for me, it's like a total theory. It's like the idea of base game paying that so that the machine can feed the progressives and the bonuses. Casino Lady Slot says there's only one Top Dollar at my local. It's a $10 machine. I have not played it because I was playing max. Not played because it's a little pricey.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you said that. It's, don't go play it because you just want to play it and you want to see the bonus, or you're trying to do a video for your channel or something like that. Always play within your means. Don't chase it. There are plenty of casinos out there. I know it's your local, but there's plenty of casinos out there, and Top Dollar is still very popular. So you can find them, for lower denominations and still have fun. Or you can buy your own.
Yeah,
you can play it all you want.
Yes, for me, I prefer to buy my own. Margaret also adds Lady Playing Cricket 7. Lady Playing Cricket had 7 symbols, and she got all excited. Then she realized she needed to be playing max to hit the progressive. She was not educated.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, it seems logical to me. I know, if you're going to put your money on the line, wouldn't you want to know everything about the game first? I mean, you wouldn't go to a blackjack table and start betting if you have no idea what the game rules are. You wouldn't even consider sitting down there. So why do people do it on a slot machine? I don't know. I think it's important to, I mean, she still got to win. It's good. It's fine. But I mean, can you imagine sitting down at a Megabucks and you didn't bet max and you got the 3 symbols and you only won 10,000 instead of 10 million? Yeah, the torture from that.
Yeah, I mean, devastation.
An extra dollar, like you should have done that, So. just educate yourself when you sit down, because I mean, there's still slot machines. You push the button, they're mostly dumb luck. It's just, that's how they're built. But I still say that you should know everything about the machine, and there's plenty to choose from. If you don't, you sit down and you're like, boy, this thing is just sucking me dry. Just get up and go to another one. Just try something else. That's the way these things will work.
Definitely, yeah. It's like, yeah, it's just like, yeah, just like definitely like for me, like there's definitely a breaking point for me. Like if like the slot machine is being like totally flat, and like no matter how high the majors, especially if I'm trying to play some Dragon Link on a live stream, if I'm not sensing anything, I'm out of there.
Yeah, and that's what you should. I mean, it should all be based around your bankroll and having fun. Like that should be your decision making process when you're going into a casino. If you're playing slot machines, I mean, they're a losing proposition overall. So don't go into the casino, cashing your social security check and saying, "This is it." I'm going to go for broke, and you're probably going to walk out of there broke. That's just the way slot machines work, and but you never know. I mean, you could have a win. They have to pay at some point. They are designed to pay, but you should always play with your means, bankroll, have fun. Don't take it seriously. If you think that you're playing slot machines and you're taking it seriously, or you keep upping your bet, or you keep going to higher denomination machines because you're trying to get back the money that you lost, that's when it's time to check out. That's when it's time to say, this is not fun anymore. Go do something else. So
that is some really great advice, and when I do want to add that, like, when you said like slot machines like eventually pay out, it's like means like, yeah, do you mean like over millions of spins?
Yeah, and this is I'm going to answer Margaret's thing here real quick, and then we're kind of wrapping up here. I'm going to talk about what we're going to talk about next week. But so Margaret says, I've legit seen megabucks on a buck. The guy hit, probably couldn't sleep for a year. I mean, can you imagine that? Just not betting max on a megabuck machine? Yikes. That's the whole reason you want to sit down on the machine, is to get that $10 million. It's not to get the 8,000 credits. I mean, that's still nice, but so the next topic, and I think we might actually do it in two episodes, because it's such a big thing, and that's the whole concept of payback percentages and how they really work. This is probably the one thing that I've heard the most misinformation out there compared to anything else. And I think that I'm going to be able to actually show you hands-on, how it actually is set, plus the counting of the machine, so you can see, that it doesn't occur in real time in the sense of you sitting down and playing the machine. I have to enforce the fact that over and over and over again, it's over millions of spin. The payback percentage is set once, and once it's set that way, the machine has millions of spins ahead of it to eventually get to that percentage. And the way it does that is probably something you haven't heard on any channel before, but I'll show you, is that each payback percentage in the machine correlates to what's called a pay table. And those pay tables include what the wins are. And just to give you a kind of a quick, I guess, nugget about what we're going to talk about next, is that, the higher the payback percentage, the more wins that are listed on the pay table. And so and I want to try to draw it out so you guys can actually visualize it, but it's not, there is a random number generator, but it plays a role in what the number is spit out, and the number that is spit out correlates to the pay table that is assigned to that payback percentage that the machine is set to. And that's how it determines what's a win or not. So anyway, I just want to kind of give you a little hint on what we're going to talk about in great detail in the coming, episodes, because it's a pretty big topic, and I think there's a lot of misconception out there, and I just want to kind of set the record straight on that. So
definitely, I am looking forward to the next episode, and I do want to say hi to everybody who I missed in the chat. I want to say hi. Hey Gail, hey James, hey Shannon, Margaret, JJ Slot Play, 5K Grenade, Spangler Slots, Jay Real, Stephen Banks. Let's see who else. Vegas Slot Channel, Goldie Slots. So sorry if I missed saying hi to everybody.
Hey, everybody, thanks for joining. Hope you have a great week.
You too. Thank you so much for being on the show. I can't wait for the next episode. I hope you have a great week too. See you on. Bye bye.
Yep. Bye. Bye, everybody. Take care.